When we started Lord of the Rings: The Third Age, it was important to be able to quickly prototype and iterate on what the battle system was going to be. We had to basically get back to the beginnings of this kind of game and just sit down with pen and paper and some dice and some little figures and start figuring out what kind of statistics, what kind of values needed to go into each action that the characters would take during a combat scenario. In order to kind of move forward with the encounters, we needed to create a generic location that the designers could use to set up ideas. So we created something that we call our Battle Arena Test Level, which is essentially just a very generic kind of area that the designers can go in, place down characters, and try out different formations and combinations of enemies to see if it was fun. Before any designer can really get to work on the encounters, we sit down with an animator, talk about an enemy or player character, and then the animator goes ahead and crafts motions for that character. The designer will then take those animations and begin to do choreography with them. We call that our basic encounter template. Basically, the designer will sit down within the Battle Arena Test Level and start trying out different positions for the enemies and for the player characters in order to create something compelling and interesting for the player. So once we have the basic enemy placement and the choreography done, it's time to really bring out the feeling and emotion of the enemies. We take an encounter and begin to infuse it with all of the special abilities that the characters may have. So here you can see the Berserker exhibiting one of his special attacks, which is the Berserker Rage attack. In order to capture the essence of Helm's Deep, as you know from the films, there are waves and waves and waves of Uruk-hai kind of assaulting the keep. So one of our encounters, we needed to make sure that we kind of brought that to life. So we created these ladders, which are in effect spawners. And when the ladders come up, enemies will actually come up over the wall and fight the characters. So we layered in that movie element as a piece of gameplay, as you can see in the footage here. For me, as a game player, when I think of fun, I think of having to try different tactics, having to really try hard to defeat a scenario. And I think our game is going to have a lot of those challenges for the player. There's a lot of times where you're going to need to try out various different strategies in order to overcome an encounter. And I think that that really lends to replayability and adds a layer of difficulty to the game that people are going to enjoy.